very simple format. I think everybody is always interested about the journey one goes on to seek out public office.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Let's start with where you were born and raised.
I was born in Baltimore City, and but grew up in Ellicott City, and my grandparents and their parents and their grandparents have had a farm here in Talbot County, and we'd always come here for Thanksgiving and Christmas and the holidays, and I went off to school, and when I decided, where do I want to live? What part of the country is most home? It's home is where your family is.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad I can live here in Talbot County and be close to my family members. And it's a beautiful place we have here.
Yeah. Where did you go to school?
In undergrad, I studied textile manufacturing at North Carolina State University. So that's a Bachelor of Science. And then I also got a minor in economics there. I really love economics and accounting and finance and both micro and macroeconomics.
Yeah.
And public policy. I represented the students of my college in our university student government. And then at graduate school at Western Kentucky University, I studied a master's in business administration there, taking accounting and finance, again, continuing those studies at the graduate level. And I also represented the students of the College of Management at our student government there as well. And I also enjoyed taking electives like folklore, and it's good to break out of the bubble, because there's a thought bubble, and you need to break out of that and experience other things. And that's the great thing about university and libraries.
Yeah. Well, my parents lived in Greenville, South Carolina.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like the beginning of the textile revolution.
Yes.
And then it's kind of cycled out.
It kind of moved. So we started in New England and then went down through the Carolinas. And Texas still produces a lot of cotton. There's a lot of spinning capacity in North Carolina still. Georgia is the heart of the carpet manufacturing industry. So most of all your carpets still made in USA. Yeah. And so when people think about textiles, they think about apparel, but there's household, your household and your industrial applications as well. So a lot of your filtration products, nonwovens, medical, even artificial aortas can be made out of textiles. So, yeah.
Who would have thought that?
Yeah.
Well, it was an interesting economic force in the South at a very important time. And as you said, a lot of these guys came down from New England, and they heavily invested in Votech schools and training, and it was an amazing story.
Yeah.
But tell me about your professional career.
Sure. After university, I went into the corporate world, and I enjoyed working in the manufacturing industry domestically at factories across the U.S. and then also internationally as well. I would tour international factories, decide, do we want to do business with this particular factory? Are they meeting labor standards? Do they have an effluent treatment plant? Are they protecting the environment? So we want to make sure that we're doing business in an appropriate way for sustainability, both for the environment, but also for business. You want a sustainable business partner.
Yeah.
And so I bring that accounting, finance, project management background into county council government, and I want to see the county council government run effectively to serve the residents of Talbot County.
Is that what you're doing now? Is that part of your job now?
I continue working in textile manufacturing, yes. I run a small business and I sell online, and I ship all over the U.S. and sometimes internationally as well. I did turn off my phone though, so if I get an order, we won't get a ding ding,
What's the product?
I manufacture hosiery items out of 100% organic cotton. So much like you have organic food at the grocery store, they can also grow cotton without any chemicals or pesticides, herbicides. And not to say that this is categorically better or worse, but rather there are some people in the marketplace that prefer organic cotton because they know it's a pure product, and because I don't use polyester, a plastic, or any elastics or dyes or chemicals of any kind. People with skin allergies really value the products that I make. Yeah, and then they find me online, so it's good. and that's bringing money into Talbot County.
Yeah.
And so all these IT skills have helped me volunteer on some campaigns in the past.
Really?
My friend was like, Kyle, they need county council candidates. You're a good person, and you should run. So I was like, I'll run.
You're getting ahead of me, but that's the most fascinating part for me is because I'm certainly civically engaged. It's a big deal to run for any kind of political office, and I probably since I started the Spy in 2009, I see it up close and personal.
Yeah.
It's a hard decision.
Yes.
And I was wondering what your political background was and how and also whatever volunteer work you've done in the community to get you to this point.
Yeah. I really enjoyed working at the university library and seeing all the different books and all the different political philosophies, and I really enjoy the Republic and public forum and that public dialogue that happens, especially in local government. When you can go to the county council meeting and talk to your elected representatives. I think that's a great aspect of democracy. And so, started being involved with student government in undergrad, continued on in grad school. One of my friends wanted to run for, city council, and so I helped him. And, with each race that you help out on and you volunteer at, you learn something more.
Yeah.
And so you kind of accumulate skills that I call like campaign mechanics, like how does the campaign run,
Yeah.
And this last year, one of my friends, James Cook, ran up for Rock Hall Town Council. So that was the last one I helped out on, and he got on the council. But yeah.
Oh, interesting. And so when I explore this with people, I always wonder if there was a tipping point, like a moment where even though you had volunteered for things and other campaigns, you said, I'm so stoked about this, or mad about this, or eager to work on this, that I'm going to do this. Not because somebody told me that we need candidates, but there must have been something inside you that said, I want to be a part of this.
Looking back at the past, years on the Talbot County Council, there are certainly some meetings where it is there's not decorum, and there's fighting, and it's very negative, and it gets very personal, and I want to really bring a sense of decorum and respect and transparency to the county council. And so when I've seen that history in the past, I'm like, that's not what I want my government to be. That's not how I want my elected representatives to act. And so I want to bring that friendly, neighborly personality to the Talbot County Council so that we can kind of elevate the decorum and public discourse to bring respect to the county council.
And do you have, I looked on your website, I haven't, but you must have like some core issues that you particularly want to work on. Is that true?
Yes. My top 3 issues, first and foremost, is taxation. Talbot County has the lowest property tax in the state of Maryland. I think that's a good thing, and we should remain, lowest property tax in the state of Maryland. I also really value the incredible peace and safety that we enjoy here in Talbot County. So how can we continue to preserve that peace? And there's kind of 2 components to that. So yes, there's the active component of first responders and EMS, fire, volunteer fire, law enforcement. But there's also a passive component to safety. What I mean by that is infrastructure design. So how can we make sure that our roads and sidewalks and greenways and intersections are as safe as they can be? and let's use a data-driven approach to look at which intersections and streets are the most prone to accidents, where are fatalities occurring, and how can we improve those intersections. When I think some people in the public think about vehicle accidents as it's an accident, it's going to happen. But through our planning of the streets and the sidewalks and the infrastructure in our county, we can design a safer county so that families can live and enjoy the town and have a better peace of mind.
Yeah. What other priorities do you have?
The third major point that I'm passionate about is stewardship of the bay. We have such a big coastline here in Talbot County, and we need to upgrade our wastewater treatment plants to current ENR standards, enhanced nutrient removal standards. We have some older plants, some lagoon plants, some BNR plants. They got grandfathered into the current standards, and we've slowly been replacing plants with ENR. And I believe in getting your money out of things. My last car was a Toyota, and I got up to 330,000 miles. Like, get your money out of your assets and your plants. But at a certain point, all good things get too old, and the maintenance gets too much, and ultimately these older plants are kind of polluting the bay. And so, can we upgrade these wastewater treatment plants to ensure that we're only putting clean water back into the bay? And can we seek out grants from the state of Maryland, from Maryland Department of the Environment, to help offset some of this cost, or maybe we can share the cost? There are also bay restoration funds. So even if you're not on public water, I live on a septic system, our family farms on a septic system, there's bay restoration fund money to repair, upgrade, replace failed septic tanks and failed drainage fields that aren't on public water. So whether you're on public water and sewer or septic, we want to make sure that these are working systems, ultimately to protect the bay.
One thing that we have been eager to talk to people about is this idea of differentials. I mean, this is a contested primary. I keep on saying, what are you bringing to the table that makes it different from the other 5 or 6 candidates that are running for this primary?
One of the things that separates me from a few of the other candidates in the primary is that I bring a strong background in accounting and finance to the county council. And so I'm really passionate about the budget process to try to see if there are any efficiencies that we can get. How can we serve the residents of Talbot County better? In manufacturing industry, we're always looking for improvements. How can we make manufacturing products better, safer, less environmental impact? And so how can we do the same thing to the county budget and increase efficiencies there? Maybe start up some new programs, but also look at some programs that are at end of life and say, is it time to sunset a program? And have tough conversations around that, or reallocate and rebalance. What are the priorities of the residents of Talbot County? What do the residents of Talbot County really need? And then what has, had a good run, And can we rebalance that money to something of a higher priority to the residents of the county? So I think that passion for accounting and finance and transparency is something that kind of sets me apart from some of the other candidates.
We've gone through a lot of territory here. I guess the final question I have is there anything about you that we haven't talked about that you want people to know? I play Little League baseball.
Yeah. One of the difficulties we face in our county is the shortage of taxi drivers and rideshare drivers. And so rather than saying that, this is a problem someone else should solve, I said, I can help reduce drunk driving in our county by being an Uber driver, being a Lyft driver. And so sometimes in the evenings, You'll see me online. And I've helped many a wedding party, get home, because people visit our county for weddings and they enjoy celebrating, but we don't want them driving on our roads intoxicated. And so by offering rideshare access, I'm able to help keep drunk drivers off our streets. Again, tying it back to the earlier theme of safety. And so it's not just a philosophy in the abstract. It's what can I do for my county? How can I serve my county there? And so that's just one way I can help out.
Yeah. What a wonderful example. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.